Todd from COSN coming at you again. Hey, today I'm going to try to do a quick video, but I don't think it's going to be very quick. It's going to be the update on the Pathfinder Phase 1 certification course from Self-Reliance Outfitters. And I just want to give you guys an update, and where I'm at right now is basically I've watched all the DVDs, even to include the external or the other DVDs that came with it. I've also downloaded all the materials and the workbook. Basically there's I think 7 different materials within the PDF files. So that's where I'm at now, and I'm trying to decipher all the information when I was watching the videos and everything. So I'm going to give you a review of where I'm at this point. So the pros is there's a lot of good information. That's the pros. There's a lot of good information in there, a lot of things you can take away from it, tools to put in the toolbox all day long. Okay, there's great information. Now the cons is I'm kind of when I get into, I'm going to try to make this fast, but when I get into courses, I've been to a lot of courses, and when I get into a lot of different certifications and things like that, I'm a real big stickler on organization. I like a course to be nice and organized, have a good flow to it, and unfortunately this did not. It's you got to really kind of decipher it, and I'm going to tell you why. So when I got into it, very first thing was there was no instructions, paper instruction or anything saying, hey, start with CD1 or download your deliverables and your workbooks and then start at CD1 or start at these other CDs that came with it. Nothing that says any of that. So of course I figured, using common sense, start at CD1. So I did, and then it told me to download the PDF files. Did it. I've actually printed off a copy of the workbook. And there's another newer workbook in there that doesn't quite match. It's not a workbook, but it's a module, 10 basics, and it goes over the 10 modules, which is 10 modules, and within the modules there's sub-courses. So I'm like, okay, I got my workbook, let's start watching DVDs. So I got in the DVDs and going through the DVDs, and the organization, again, is what I'm talking about here. It wasn't good. So what I mean by that is, one, there was about 3 videos out of all the videos that were tailored for this certification course. That means that in the videos they actually said, hey, thank you for coming to the course, this is relevant to the course, and it was tailored to the course. Now the rest of the videos were all basically YouTube videos from David Canterbury's YouTube site, which isn't bad, but they weren't very well put in place or organized. And some of the videos weren't even relevant, relevant in self-reliance, but not relevant in the workbook. It didn't mesh. And just for instance, there was 2 that stuck out to me, and one of them was how to build a fish hook out of natural resources. Good information, good stuff. But it didn't really have any relevancy to the workbook. It wasn't in the workbook. And the other one was nipping a piece of glass into an arrowhead. Wasn't in the workbook at all that I could see. However, great information, but it wasn't in the workbook. And then some of the other videos, most of them were from about 2010 that I can tell, because he was talking about trying to do the Discovery Channel dual survival show. He was in the process of that show, or trying to get into that show. And so they were roughly around about 2010. No problem with old videos, but in my personal opinion, if you're building a certification course or a type of course, it needs, 1, to be organized, have a flow to it, and 2, have videos that are either A, relevant to the course, which there was a few that were relevant from 2010 to the course, but they also need to be tailored to the course. And what I mean by that is really going from basics to, and not say these are super advanced, but they just didn't have, they were just, okay, here's this idea, or here's this idea, here's this idea. So it really didn't clarify the workbook. So with that being said, it seems to be, I think the 2 CDs that came with it, and not the ones actually in the box, they were just 2 that came with it. I think there were extras, newer ones. Those were actually, I think, better than what was actually in the course itself. And those were like the 10 C's, you know, David Canterbury has his 10 C's, 5 C's, 10 C's, does blocks of 10s. And then the other one was like basic survival. And those were good DVDs. And I'm not saying that these are bad DVDs, it's just they're on YouTube. I could go to YouTube to get most of this information. Not that, you know, and maybe that's the way they planned it, is just throw some stuff in here, you can go to YouTube and work on your deliverables and your workbook. And some of the information in the workbook was out of place. Like they had a fire building primitive skills in the edible section, it just kind of disorganized. Anyway, that's my personal opinion on, so far, on the Pathfinder Phase 1. And not that it's, and like I said, this is my personal opinion based off my experience. It's basically poorly organized, good information, and I'm still deciphering the workbook as we speak. So I'm going to start with Module 1, and it's about personal space and going out into your personal space and identifying and that sort of thing. So that's going to be a whole nother video in itself, because I'd like to complete it and then turn it in and kind of see how long it takes to be graded, how they grade it, you know, what basis do they grade it off of? Do I do it David Canterbury style? Do I do it my style? And you know what I mean? It doesn't really explain it, just kind of says, okay, here's your objectives, send in a copy of your log, you know, okay, like a journal. But anyway, that is where I'm at with the Pathfinder Phase 1 course, and if you guys have any questions whatsoever, throw them down in the comment block and I'll answer them the best of my knowledge. I thank you guys all for watching and everything you do for me, and have a good